Hello everybody, welcome to my 2019 Appalachian Trail through hike pre-hike gear list. I've watched a lot of other people's lists over the years and it's really helped me. I'm just going to start with the big three. I thought it'd be kind of fun to set up the tent in the big three versus keep it in the stuff sack. This is the one day it's above freezing for the next week, so forgive the stakes set up, they're kind of popping out a little bit, but the ground is just frozen solid. So since we're only setting this up for the purposes of this video, I'm not too concerned about it. The tent is the Z-Pax Duplex. I've had this for a couple years now. It's really great. Had it on backpacking trips where it was just pouring down rain all night, and it's been great. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I hike with my dog a lot, and she always sleeps next to me, but she does walk around in here flat on this flooring here, and this has never gotten a hole or anything from her nails. So for those of you who have dogs who are kind of curious, I personally have never had a problem with it. Not saying you wouldn't, but I just haven't. Okay, let's go over the sleep system next. I have a pretty typical quilt. It's the Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt. This is a 20 degree with the down tech. And then inside, I use the Cool Max liner, like a sheet liner, and it does actually keep you warmer. And then last but not least is the Thermarest Xlite. And this is actually the large. I'm a stomach sleeper and I move around a lot when I sleep, so those little 20-inch wide pads work well if you sleep on your side, but not if you don't. So what I did is I got a large, but I'm only 5'4", so there's a couple of great videos. I happen to watch Chris Goes Outdoors. That gentleman put a video together about how you can take a large pad and then cut the end off, see here, and then just kind of iron it together, so you actually save some weight. And for me, it's less annoying because now the bottom and the tops of the pad here don't like run into the walls, or my head doesn't touch the very edges of the tent. Okay, so for the sections that my dog will be joining me, what works best is this Thermarest pad. It's like the accordion one. I can't remember what it's called. But I bought one and laid it out on the floor and let her lay on it, and when I knew how big I needed it to be, I just kind of cut it. So she sleeps on this, and then she also has a big thick fleece that I put over her, and then I'll also open up my quilt, which is part of the reason why I wanted to have a quilt, and I drape that over her as well, so we kind of sleep side by side, and that works out really well because she gives off a lot of body heat, so she's kind of like sleeping next to a hot water bottle. Okay, let's talk about the pack. This is a Z-Pax Arc Haul. This one's new. I got it this year, so I'll let you know how it goes. I've used it a little bit so far, but not that much. But in the end, what really sold me was the arc framing in the back. My last pack didn't have that, and you know, you sweat no matter what, but when the sweat is pressed up against your back and the salt is, I got a lot of chafing on my back, so I kind of wanted to get away from that. I was also intrigued by the Dyneema because it works so well on the tent that I thought it would work well for the pack. I will still use a trash compactor bag inside, but I probably won't use any type of a pack cover and see how that works out. I also really like the even pockets on the side and the huge stretchy mesh front. So I'll let you know how it goes. So far so good. With a little bit I have been able to take it out and use it. I really do like it, and it has a ton of these pieces of webbing to clip all kinds of crap to it, you know, like your towel, and I got a compass, and then I have a water bottle holder. It's just a piece of plastic that you can clip the water bottle onto. But there's two things I had them put on there, and that's the pouches, which are really big. Those are nice. And then I had them install the bear canister strap to the front, so you can actually put a bear canister along the front if you want to. I think ultimately I'm going to stick with the Ursack for that, and I'll get to that later, but it's there if I change my mind or I go on another trip where a bear canister is required. So that's pretty much the big three. I guess I can point out the trekking poles. These are Leckies. They're the carbon, the cork grips, and they kind of have this nice grip part here. And these are the ones with only one flip lock or quick lock, and they break down into 3 pieces. Like I think right about here it collapses. And these have been great. I've had these for like 2 or 3 years now, and they still have a lot of miles left in them, so I'm totally gonna keep using them. Okay, let's go over cooking. I plan on cooking on the trail. This is a Toke's titanium pot. I think this one is 900 milliliters, right? Yeah, so I can boil a lot more water, and I can actually cook in the pot if I choose to cook in the pot versus just in the, instead of boiling water and pouring it in the bags. But, you know, I can do that too. We'll see. And then, you know, typical stuff, the lighter, pot scraper. I brought a little sponge to kind of scrub the pot out. And then I have the MSR Pocket Rocket 2, and then I have a bandana. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Then I just have a bandana and the fuel. So the bandana is kind of cool. It helps me clean and dry the pot, especially with titanium. You don't want to get like rust, so it really helps dry it out. And also, that's like your pot holder right there. So I have this thing right here for cooking, and I can either do freezer bag cooking, you know, boil some water, pour it in a freezer bag, put it in here, close it up and let it cook, or if I choose to cook in the pot, I figured it works well too, because, you know, you cook your food in the pot and then shove the pot in there and kind of let it cook that way too. So either way is fine. So that's what I'm gonna go with. As far as food storage, I'm gonna go with an earth sack, and I just don't want to be directly or indirectly responsible for contributing to the bear problem along the AT. And this one's a lot lighter than a bear canister. I think this one is half a pound. And it's also nice because I don't want to hang a bear bag because I'm a lazy mofo. A odor-proof sack, fill it up and stick it in there, and that should do ya. So that's cooking. Okay, let's talk about water. I'm going to use the famous Sawyer squeeze, and I put a sport cap on there so I could back flush it when I need to. I also have a tornado tube to help filter the water. I have a 2-liter Evernew bag as my backup water, but for the most part I'm going to be drinking out of 2 1-liter Smart Water bottles. So those will be coming with me. I just haven't gotten them yet. And as a backup filter system, I have some bleach, and then just the Sawyer bag, but I cut it and it can act as a scoop in case the water source is shallow. Over electronics, I have a headlamp. It's a black diamond spot with some backup batteries. I have a 13.5 milliamp battery charger, 2 USB port quick charge wall charger, and then the cords for all that, as well as some headphones, stick pick, and the button that acts as a remote so you don't have to hold the camera when you are taking pictures and videos. And then for all of my pictures and videos, I'll be using an iPhone 7 with a LifeProof case, and I have the Gut Hook app installed in that. So that's electronics, short and sweet. Alright, for hygiene, I just have a microfiber towel with some Dr. Bronner's, some extra light load towels as a backup, a hairbrush, some Body Glide, nail clippers, toothbrush, toothpaste, and some floss. We have some TP, Purell, a Deuce of Spades trowel, and a little go tube to act as a bidet. And then finally, if I do any laundry, I found these little clips actually at a craft store, and they work really well. They'll hold my clothes to the back of my pack as well as on a laundry line. And I did bring a laundry line. This is Zingit cordage, I believe. And it's the kind of cordage that arborists use. So for those of you who are hanging a bear bag, you might be interested in this because it's really strong. I think it's like 550-pound weight limit, and it is meant to be thrown over trees, and it's lighter than, say, paracord. So you might want to check that out if that interests you. So that's it for hygiene. First aid, we'll start with bug stuff. I have contracted Lyme disease before, and it's no joke, so I take it very seriously. We got a bug net, some bug spray, a tick key, which is pretty vital, gauze, and some Leuko tape. So I tend to make my own band-aids so I can cut whatever size I need. And the Leuko tape works great as a blister preventative. If I feel a hot spot, I'll put the Lugo tape on that hot spot. Some Neosporin, and this is some hydrocortisone cream that I put in a tube. And then we have some steri strips. I have to add more, but just some pills like some Tylenol, antidiarrheal, ibuprofen, things like that. But I actually have to add more to that. Some sunblock, and then a miniature Swiss Army knife with tweezers on it. For repairs, Cuban fiber repair tape, the sleeping pad repair patches, some needle and thread, and then these little quick start fire starters. And then I just wanted to mention some miscellaneous stuff that I didn't know where else to put it. We have the AT guide northbound and southbound because I plan on doing a flip-flop. So this is the loose leaf version, so I'm just going to pull out the sections I need when I need them. Write in the Rain journal, and a Z-Packs wallet. Just because I forgot to mention this earlier, it's my Toaks titanium spoon. And then I have a little bag that folds in on itself. It's super light. It's just something to carry so I don't have to tote my backpack around everywhere if I'm in town. And then I have a little Spyderco backup knife. I think it's called the Ladybug. It's super light. And then I'm going to carry mace for hitchhiking. Okay, let's talk about Wrong Ways gear, also known as Juniper. Juniper will be joining me for sections of the hike, and when I say sections, basically it's any section that she's comfortable with. So for any section that dogs aren't allowed, or if she just looks uncomfortable or she's having a tough time, I do have the luxury of having family available that she adores that can come and pull her off for me. Alright, so let's start with clothes, which for her of course is minimal. She's on her sleeping pad, which goes in the tent with me. I talked about that earlier. When she sleeps, I have this big fleece that I cut down for her. I just took one of my old fleeces, and clearly that's not on. She sleeps with that on top, and then she also snuggles in the sleeping bag with me. Rain jacket. We just have a little doggy rain jacket. Let's see, hold on, June. Be patient with me, June. Okay, so we have a little, we have a rain jacket for her that works really well. And then she also has a light, we also have a light fleece jacket for her. I don't have it with me right here. I'll add a picture. So that jacket is a rough wear. That works really well for her. And for cleanup, we have a camp towel. Put that on her and dry her off. Her hair is very wiry, so it's pretty easy to dry. She's sort of a quick dry dog. Okay, so let's go over other gear. Paying attention to the paw pads is really important. She does not like to wear booties, so as an alternative, which works really well, is this Musher Secret. The stuff's great, and it keeps the paw pads from cracking. It keeps them really soft and keeps her very comfortable. We use it all the time. And if I put it on at night in the tent, I will use these little socks. They're basically like dog socks, just to keep the wax from like spreading all over the blankets and whatnot. It's also important to keep her nails trimmed, so I'll be toting these around with me as well. Also bringing a big hunk of vet wrap, and this is meant for dogs. If they have an injured paw, you kind of put that around their foot, and it's waterproof, so that keeps her paw clean and dry. And I have some of this. I'll get some more. This is medication. This is carprofen, or I think Rimadyl is the non-generic name, and it's basically doggy ibuprofen if she ever needs that. For tick prevention, we have a Spectra collar. I'll get a couple of these as we're going along the trail. That's worked the best. We've had the Avantix and things like that, and that's okay, but I really like this. And then for a leash, I just have a small retractable leash, and I like this because we can feed this through my backpack waist strap, so I can still be hands-free. So I think that's all the gear I'm going to go through. I don't really want to go through my clothes. I find clothes pretty boring to go over. Everybody's different, but for me it's just kind of dull. So instead of stabbing my own eye out with a tent stake, I think I'm just going to avoid editing clothes stuff. So Finally, I just wanted to say it wasn't until I had to plan for this hike I realized how much effort it takes to bend your life around to make it happen. And I know everyone's experience is different, but for some people it can be a pretty monumental task to just make it happen, and they haven't even started walking yet. So I'm already going into this with a lot of appreciation and respect for the past and present hikers out there. Thank you.